Welcome. I'm Kinetic Symphony. I hunt down and report on weird and true mysterious stories, from glitches to the paranormal. Would you like even more content? Here's my Patreon. Now onto the stories. Case file number 1260, written by BangosSkank. The day I was erased from existence. I had recently just purchased my house, and my old washer and dryer wouldn't fit. Plus they sucked, and my wife hated using them. So she sent me on a mission to buy a new set. I didn't do my research, and as I'm standing in the Lowe's appliance department, coming to grips with what I'm up against, my contractor neighbor walked up behind me. He helped me pick out the exact units I was going to purchase. I bought them, and then life got weird for a few minutes. When I got to the truck with my two large boxes, there stood my neighbor waiting for me. I thought he was waiting to help me load them, but he just looked at the boxes and said something like, "That's a gas dryer. We don't have gas." I bust his balls for a couple of minutes about him helping me pick the wrong units out, and it was as normal an interaction as I could ever have. I went inside to do the return walk of shame on the items I literally never even left the parking lot with. My neighbor walked to his truck. I'm at the return counter. The girl behind the register asked me my name. I told her and handed her my receipt from 5 minutes prior while explaining the situation. Without even looking up at me, she says again, "Name?" I tell her my name a second time, and she says nothing while typing into the computer. In comes my neighbor to the return desk with a gallon of paint. He waits in line behind me, saying nothing. The girl behind the register looks up at me and says, "Name, sir?" I tell her my name for a third time, pointing to the receipt on the counter, and try to explain the situation again. She types into the computer some more, and for what was probably a solid minute, says nothing at all. Another girl at the return desk finishes with another customer and comes over to help. The new girl says to me, while they both stare into the computer screen, "Name?" A fourth time, I gave them both my name. Without taking their eyes off the screen, the new girl says, and I crap you not, "I'm sorry, sir, but you don't exist." I got sort of lightheaded after she said that because I was already thinking how strange the situation was. I said back, "I don't exist, or I'm not in your system." Without answering me, the second girl says to my neighbor, "Sir, I can help you over here." Moves to the next register as my neighbor walks past me, and without another word to me, returns his paint and walks out the door. Then, almost as if nothing weird happened, the first girl just says, "My name, here's your return. You'll have to purchase the new ones, and we'll refund you for the ones you mistakenly purchased." Without even going back to the appliance section, there behind me stands a guy with the units I needed on a dolly, ready to help me buy and load them into my truck. My neighbor was gone, but when I asked him about it, he didn't think there was anything weird about the whole thing. I, on the other hand, had an existential crisis, and only barely managed to hold it together. Case answer file 1260. The day I was erased from existence. By the way, it's raining, thunderstorming outside, so if you hear some noise or just background noise from that, come on Dave, don't be afraid. So organizational issues happen, true. New employees that don't comprehend the systems in place. Still, that doesn't explain why the girl would ask your name 3 times. Then when the second girl comes over, asks again. Which means the first 3 times she didn't even type your name into the system? Was the keyboard busted? I don't think so. Didn't sound like it. And how can you not remember someone's name, which is also on the receipt as you pointed out? And then your neighbor helping you select appliances that wouldn't even work for you, since there's no gas hookup in your neighborhood. It's not a fiction of your mind, your neighbor really was there as he handed the paint in to the girl. So yeah, this is weird. Give me aliens, werewolves, zombies any day of the week over experiences like this. Experiences that start to peel away at the fabric of your mind, your sanity. Where those little screws that always fit, suddenly don't anymore. Small, innocent little errors compounded together to shatter reality. Disturbs me beyond words. You have to be able to trust your own mind. Case file number 1261, written by brmamabrma. My dad's bizarre UFO experience. This happened to not me but my dad. He was at a volleyball camp near Roswell, New Mexico, and after it was done, he was driving back. It took 2 hours to get to the apartment he was at. So he was driving for an hour on a straight road. No trees, no bends, no buildings, no turns, nothingness for as far as the eye can see, when all of a sudden, lights appeared behind him. He doesn't think much of it. Maybe they were on the side of the road or something, and keeps driving. When all of a sudden, the lights just speed up, passing him in less than 5 seconds. He was going around 100 down a road that was empty. No other cars or lights or anything but road and loose sandy dirt to the sides, and the lights pass him near instantly. It kept on going and then they're gone, poof, nothing. No lights, no taillights, no dust to the side of the road, no noise of it stopping, nothing. It was gone, nothing more, nothing less. But the whole time it was happening, there was a noise that sounded like an industrial fan near the lights, but there was nothing more than lights. No tires, just lights, bright white lights, that just disappeared in the open desert. Case answer file 1261. My dad's bizarre UFO experience. So alien craft, or was it a military experiment? There's no sign of an abduction, memory alteration, time loss, or wonky electronics in the car, so I'm guessing the latter. More to that point, alien ships typically make no noise. Whatever technology they have to cancel out the effects of gravity don't produce sound, at least not external to the craft. Roswell isn't too far from the White Sands missile range, by the way. So could it have been a type of missile test? Of course, without any payload, just testing the rocket system, the delivery mechanism. I could see that. Case file number 1262, written by CJ. I predicted every detail of a TV show episode before it aired. This isn't a very long or scary story, but it weirds me out nonetheless. Me and my wife and I watch a TV show called Claim to Fame. The contestants are related to celebrities, and other contestants have to figure out who they are related to based on games and clues they are given. Just for an example, let's say your celebrity relative was Margot Robbie. Some clues might be a Barbie doll, Harley Quinn memorabilia, high heels, etc. Anyway, new episodes of the show come out every Monday night. We went to a concert Monday night, so Tuesday night rolled around and my wife asked if we want to watch the new episode of the show. I said yes. We make some food and put it on. 30 seconds in, I realize I've already seen this episode before. I start telling my wife that I've seen it and telling her about some things that were going to happen in the show, and she told me that I was just being silly and didn't know anything because it had just come out the night before. I then told her who somebody's celebrity relative was before the show even told us. At first I just told her she must have accidentally put the episode from last week on and she didn't remember what happened. But then she showed me the TV where it said the release date of the episode, and in fact it was the night before. I'm really not sure what's going on. I knew everything that was going to happen in that episode, down to who won the challenges and who got eliminated. There's no possible way I could have seen it before that night. My wife swears that I woke up and watched it while she was asleep, but I know I didn't because I was on PlayStation with my friend all night and went to sleep 2 hours before she left for work. There's no previews for the next episode that could have showed me any of these things, so I'm just so confused. Case answer file 1262. I predicted every detail in a TV show episode before it aired. So we have so many documented cases of people excavating future knowledge from the ether. It's all out there. It no longer surprises me. My only question about this is how far ahead reality is really buffered, which is my way of reasoning to free will still existing. We made our choices, now we're just reliving them. If so, that future knowledge is already out there, ready to be read by certain brains that are attuned to it. But really why? Why was your brain able to harvest this kind of information, and for something so, well, innocuous as a reality television show? I wish I could give you those answers, but I have no clue what the catalyst is. And now time for the quote of the day. I like living. I have sometimes been wildly, despairingly, acutely miserable, racked with sorrow. But through it all, I still know quite certainly that just to be alive is a grand thing. Agatha Christie. Embracing life is key, even if your situation is poor. The only time life becomes untenable, and why people would commit to ending it, is if they have no hope of it getting better. Hope is everything. Without hope, then life is miserable. Even if you're in terrible pain getting tortured in the moment, but you believe you can escape or you'll be rescued, you can bear it. But if you think that's impossible, then no. So hope is everything. I think that's a lot of the reason why people are so depressed now. And there's just a miasma of sorrow in the world, especially in the US. People don't have hope for the future. I don't know how to restore it, but I have hope for the future. I think it'll be amazing. I guess time will tell. Regardless of what happens, having hope is the only way to move on, to have the will to move on. Like the video, subscribe, hit the bell. Kinetic Symphony signing off.